In this lecture, we are going to focus on eyes, on adjusting light in the eyes. So we're going to zoom in pretty strongly. In order to adjust the highlights in the eyes, we are going to use exactly the same technique as before, and we are going to work with this extremely flexible and extremely powerful tool, which is the curve. So I'm now adding another adjustment layer, curves. And I'm going to sample from the eyes. So having the curves adjustment layer selected, I'm going to use the targeted selection tool and sample from the area in the eye that I would like to brighten, which is this part, and I would like to keep it as dark as it is in this part. So this point will be blocking the adjustment. So to brighten the eyes, I'm going to pull this point upwards. Don't worry about the rest of the face. I'm going to mask the eyes. So I'm not even looking at the skin at the face. What I'm focusing entirely now on are the eyes. I can exaggerate a little bit, however, I'm working on a very strong zoom and the image was getting already pixelated. And remember that having these adjustments as a adjustment layer, I can decrease opacity of the layer and I can still work with this adjustment. It's not the final step. Okay, so let's say this curve is giving me the result that I want. I have strengthened the highlights. Let's now work with the mask in exactly the same way as in the previous videos when we were working with the body and the hair. So I'm selecting the mask thumbnail and inverting the mask. So I'm hitting Command I on the keyboard, the mask turned to black and those adjustments that I just applied disappeared. So to reveal them, I will be painting with the white soft brush. I have to hit B. Actually, I have brush selected already because I was working in the previous video on the hair upper body. So with the opacity 10, I can maybe go a little bit further and I'm hitting 2 on the keyboard, so the opacity has changed to 20%. I'm going to zoom in and decrease the size of my brush and just very subtly go over the area in the eyes that I would like to brighten. I don't want to have these two highlights melted together, so I need to be precise at this point and just brighten the eyes. I want to go a little bit always around on the eyelid. Let's zoom out and let's switch off this layer. Notice that when we are working on a large zoom in, you can get lost. You need to zoom out and switch off the layer and on again to see the results. I don't want to overdo this. I would like to have these highlights a little bit stronger. However, I don't want to get any really strong and fake effect. So as her eyes were in a natural way this very beautiful dark color, and I don't want to change it. I don't want to go against these natural features, the personality. So let's keep the eyes in this beautiful dark color as they were originally. Let's just increase those highlights a little bit. So now I'm going to work on the left eye. Let's select the brush again and let's decrease size of my brush. And I'm going in a very precise way with the small size of my brush, a little bit over the eyelids and these bright areas in the eye. Let's toggle off the layer so I can already see that the results were applied. They are not really visible when I'm working on the layer, however, it's very helpful to just toggle on and off to see the result. Okay, so I'm happy with the adjustments I have applied to the eyes. Now I can increase size of the brush. So I have pressed the right square bracket and I'm going to decrease opacity. I'm hitting 1 on the keyboard, so now it's set as 10, and I'm just very lightly going over the eyelids just to introduce a little bit more of a highlights. Okay, so that way in this lecture we have adjusted the eyes, we have added those nice highlights to the eyes. After adjusting the eyes, we have adjusted all those separate parts of the body, so we have finished the edit on those particular elements that I wanted to adjust. It's time now to wrap up and add few final adjustment layers and control the overall contrast and the overall light and shadows in the image. So let's move ahead to the next lecture and let's control a little bit more the overall light and shadows in our image.